is fall, no money at all, at all. Oh girl, house will fly away, no work, no pay. Every day I hear them say, it's more misery. Oh girl, fire in Montmoris, fire in Willis, river drying up. Now we have water police, no rain, no water. The place get hotter and hotter. No fat, making Grenadians fart. Poker pork, no beef. Poker pork, no beef. We holding straight, we feeling pain. It's all in the game, we complain again. Same old, same old, same old, same old, same old, same old. It's the same old, same old. A poor but a polite, a poor but a polite, a poor but a polite, a poor but a polite. Poker pork, no beef. Poker pork, no beef. When better can come, let us continue. Right. We feeling depression, people falling murder, food price getting higher, hour by the hour. Oh girl, this small gas cylinder cost $61. You have to kill 10 cow to go by l'aqua. Oh girl, bring back the coal pot, 3 stones fire hot. The pitch pine wood, cook your food real good. The mud oven, to bread, the kerosene stove, the people say they got dead. Poker pork, no beef. Poker pork, no beef. We holding straight, we feeling pain. Life is not the same, it's so inhumane. Same old, same old, same old, same old. It's the same old, same old, same old, same old. A poor but a polite, a poor but a polite, a poor but a polite, a poor but a polite. Poker pork, no beef. Poker pork, no beef. When better can come, let us continue. Right. Illusions and fantasies presented to we. It's our duty to build back this country. Oh girl, wondering what's next. The people so vexed, they so upset, want to get things off their chest. Oh girl, forget about oil, go back and till the soil. Dashing banana, breadfruit, yam and tanya, okra and cassava, cabbage, peas, corn and ginger. Like this tomato, you have to suck for mango. Poker pork, no beef. Poker pork, no beef. We holding straight, we feeling pain. It's all in the game, better will come again. Same old, same old, same old, same old, same old, same old. It's the same old, same old. A poor but a polite, a poor but a polite, him jogging on the ground. They say he get briefcase of money, but it's no help the country. So tell me where Uncle Tilly, he don't have no heart for we.
We want to win and then pay.
Win and then pay.
We got me win and then pay.
Win and then pay.
We baby win and then pay.
Win and then pay.
We put the boy and then pay.
Boy and then pay.
Drop the X, buy and then pay. Stick the X, buy and then pay. Put the X, buy and then pay. Put the X, buy and then pay. We want to win and then pay.
Win and then pay.
We put the boy and then pay.
Boy and then pay. They telling us that they have a heart,
That they have a
but tell them it's not for the country. But all we beg them to help we.
We beg them to help
They cry no, they don't have money. So tell me why we vote Tilly. He can't do nothing to help we. He making it no hard than we. Hope we can strive and die. So make sure you vote NNP. We don't vote in no NDC. So take your rock wave with me. We waving for NNP.
We want to win and then pay.
Win and then pay.
We got me win and then pay.
Win and then pay.
We baby win and then pay.
Win and then pay.
We put the boy and then pay.
Boy and then pay.
Drop the X,
Buy and then pay.
stick the X,
Buy and then pay.
put the X,
Buy and then pay.
put the X,
Buy and then pay.
we want to win and then pay.
Win and then pay.
We put the boy and then pay.
Boy and then pay.
Now,
This is your son of the soil. A man that grew up on fish oil.
Good night to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name is Sheldon Scott. I'll be here with you up until the 10 o'clock hour.
This is your son of the soil. Alvin is a man on a mission.
Yeah, we'll be joined by Honorable Alvin Dabrio a little later in the program.
A man with compassion. He knows right from wrong. He have a plan for St. John's. The FM station, television program, best in information, best for the nation. Alvin does vibes with everyone.
Yes, indeed, he does.
He is your real humble servant. Anywhere you pass, anywhere you look, in crochet, in barber, anywhere you pass, he is there and everywhere. Anywhere you pass, anywhere you look, in Florida, in Waterloo, Alvin Day, he day. Alvin Day, he's right here to stay. On his way to the rescue. Nothing is impossible.
Yes, and saying a good night to all of you joining us via the various radio stations.
He is the one to see you through. He is here to help you. In good times and bad times, he go on his mind.
Those of you joining us on YouTube, those of you joining us via Facebook,
He's very kind.
those of you joining us via We Noise Radio and One Soca Radio out there in Brooklyn.
He will deliver good and proper. With radiance, he's your humble servant. Anyway,
It is the 17th day of July 2025.
you pass, anywhere you look, on the lands, in gold battle, anywhere you pass, Alvin Day.
And as far as we know, not a single house has been handed over in Petite Martinique yet. But
He's here, there and everywhere. Anywhere you pass, anywhere you look, Barbados, Constant Spring, Alvin Day. Alvin Day, he's right here to stay.
and folks, remember, the electoral list is out. You need to check the electoral list. It is now out. Yeah? The electoral list is now out, so it is important that you check the list.
He's a real nation builder. He won't Grenada to recover. He's a son
everywhere you look, Alvin, there, you all over that constituency. By what? Yes, indeed, folks. Remember to hit the like button and hit the share button.
There and everywhere. Anywhere you pass, Alvin there. Anywhere you look, Alvin there. Market Square, Alvin there. In Holland, Alvin there. Alvin there, he there, he there, he there. Alvin there, he's right here to stay.
You're just making sure everything's going all well and okay.
Anywhere you pass, Alvin there. Anywhere you look, Alvin there. In Marico, Alvin there. In Concord, Alvin there. Anywhere you pass, Alvin there, he there, he there. He's there and everywhere.
And he will be there with us in a while, eh? Yeah. From 8:30.
Anywhere you pass, Alvin.
But as I was saying, the electoral list is out, the consolidated list of voters. So, you know, by the shops in some areas, you know, in some areas they just put it on a lamppost. In some areas it's by a shop. In some areas, you know, we used to have phone booth back in the days, so they used to put it on a phone booth back in the days. But those things don't really exist again, so you don't have phone booth to put it on. Health centers, wherever. But you know, within your community there's a location where the list is, so you can go and check the list and make sure that your name is there, that your name has not been removed. Yeah? You can also make sure that you are in the proper polling division. And again, for those of you that may, I know a couple people asked me, well, Sheldon, how do we find the thing here? Let me just get it. Yeah, so you're going on to, why is this doing it like this? Yeah. You're going on to PEO Grenada, and let me pull it up so that you can see what I'm doing here. Yeah, so you're going on to PEO Grenada, right? This is for those of you that are outside of Grenada and need to confirm whether or not your name remains on the list. So you're going to PEO Grenada, you see it here, right? PEO Grenada, and here you can make a search and search by name and surname, right? Come on, search by name and surname thing. You have yourself there. It's taking a little while to get to it, but you'll be able to check here and you can verify as to whether or not your name is there. So my first name is Sheldon. Yeah, no, not Sheldon, Sheldon, right. And my surname, of course, is Scott. And you click, I know some people in Carriacou said they want to hear Duncan or they want to hear Lawrence. Nice. Hit find me. And right, you see I popped up here. So you're seeing my registration number. Me afraid all you could see my registration number. Anybody could go and find it there anyhow. So the registration number is there. You see my name, Sheldon Scott. Of course, I am male. I'm sure on that. I'm frequente, media worker, L08, and I can click on this part of it here, PD. I can click on this part here, or I could just click on, right? And it gives you all this. Oh, no, I'll have to click on this part here. Select, right? And it gives me the polling station. Votes at Cali's Government School, right? So you click on select, and select will show you exactly where said individual, yourself, votes at. All right? So again, you're going to PEO Grenada, peogrenada.org, not .com, but .org. And you will be able to find your name on the voters list like that. All right? Nice. And you can help others as well. Some people may not be technically inclined to be able to find their name, and you can help them find their name on the list. So remember, you're going here to search voters list, not by registration number, but search by name and surname, which is the easier way. And then you go through and you'd be able to find your information here. All right, wonderful. And indeed, folks, we will be having, as I mentioned before, the Honorable, yes, I still say the Honorable Alvin Dabrio will be on with us in a little short. But before we get to him, just remember, so that one is for the people who are outside of the island, as far as I am concerned. If you're in the island, you could use it as well, yes, but it is also good to double check the list. Yeah, you could use the site as well, but it is good as well to double check the list and make sure that you're there. And I have to keep checking. Easy. I go check and make sure that your name there. Oh, you're telling me your name there? Right, okay, you're not asking me. You're telling me your name there. Because by now, I expect that any listener to Talking Points would have checked in their community, and if they're out of the island, they check online. So I would expect that any listener nightly to Talking Points, once they have had the opportunity to do so, that by this point in time, at least 80% of you should have checked and ensured that your name is there. Because we ain't making joke. We ain't out in no joke thing here. Yeah, we out for it. So we have to do the work and we have to do it properly. And we can't be talking, and we ain't doing what we need to do. The talking is one thing, but we have work that has to be done. And this is a simple task. Check the voters list in your area, make sure that you are there. Check the voters list, make sure your children that registered, make sure they're there. If they're not there, let your constituency caretaker know. You have to check for the deceased people, make sure they come off the list. Check for your husband, check for your mother, your father, other people that you know are supporting the party, and you want to make sure that they have the ability to vote on election day. Check for all of them. Check for your neighbors. Check for your workmates, and so that you know, hey, that is my good partner, he's supporting, you know. I want to make sure that he's on the list. So you have to check and make sure that they are on the list. But you also have to verify on the list those people who are deceased, who have gone to the great beyond to meet our Maker, and they are still on the list. We have to make sure that those names are noted and that those names come off of the list. No jokes about it. Make sure those names come off the list. Also, go through the entire list, and if you're seeing names of people and you find that surname look funny, that person is not a person from around here, or you can't place a face to the name, make a note of that name, the registration number, etc. Give it to your constituency representative. We have 7 working days, so I think we have up until, I think it's next week. Is it next week Friday or week after Monday or when? But 7 working days for the complaints in relation to the list. Yeah? And reports to be made in relation to the list to get those names removed ASAP. It's difficult after election is called, and I've seen it happen to political parties before. Elections are called, you're now going over the list and you're just realizing there are 40-something people here that you're suspicious on. You can't find them, you can't place a face to them, nobody seems to know them, but they are registered as voters and newly so in your constituency. And there's nearly nothing you can do. These people will be allowed to vote by that point in time. Because by the time the electoral process office goes through the process of identifying who those people are, investigating and so on, and going through the process of writing to those people and having them taken off the list, by the time all of that happens, election's done. So you need to make sure that you get those people off now. It is not something that we could be lackadaisical on. It is not something we can say we're going to deal with it next week. We're going to deal with that next month. When I get some time, I'll go check. No, you need to deal with that now. All right? Nice. Beautiful.
Anywhere you look, I'll be there. In Grand Ride, in Mara, I'll be there. I'll be there, he's right here to stay. Anywhere you pass, I'll be there. Anywhere you look, I'll be there. On Greasy Hill, I'll be there. In Shantytown, I'll be there. Anywhere you pass, I'll be there. He's here, there and everywhere.
Also, folks, I really feel it for those of you who are living in St. Andrew, in particular in areas such as Soubise and Telescope, and in Grenville, those of you in Gladstone Road, and all. I mean, it's not just the people on the sea coast, but it's the people who are living into the hills outside of Grenville going up. Those people are getting it as well. They're getting that seaweed is thick. And again, I saw a young man do a video in relation to it. And he was speaking about the effect that the seaweed is having on him and his business and the business of the others. He's a fisherman. And he was speaking about the effect the entire thing is having on him as a fisherman. And the fact that they can't go out to sea. They're basically trapped. He was saying things like some of the fishermen, at least 4 people tried to walk through the seaweed to get to the boats and they ended up with sores on their feet and these kind of things on their legs. So they got that from the seaweed. And so the fact that the people in Sobeys and Marquee and other areas, the fridge, the TV, all the electronic devices just keep spoiling because of the sulfuric fumes that coming out from the seaweed. And so the sargassum, it is affecting them. It's affecting their health. It's affecting their economic well-being. It is affecting their emotional well-being. It is affecting all aspects of the people in those areas' lives. And you see, the problem we have here is that there are some people that only making the statement, well, you all doing like if this is something and you all had the chance to do. No, it is nothing like that. This is a situation that has to be dealt with. The situation is dire for people in that area, and it needs to be addressed. Let's just address the situation. You all have 5 boats that you get, you have fence, you have net, you have all kind of thing. Deal with the situation. But we're going to deal with that a little later on. And folks, just a reminder again, before we forget totally, tomorrow it's taking place at the St. David's constituency branch of the New National Party, that barbecue sale. It starts from 1 p.m. Barbecue chicken, barbecue fish, barbecue pork, pig foot sauce, Manish waters, bacon fish cake, potato salad, green salad, garlic bread, and ice cold drinks on sale, of course. You say yes, indeed. All right, nice. Yeah, and let me get rid of that audio in the background there. Yeah, that audio not supposed to be there. You're not supposed to be there. Right, let me just sort that out. So yes, that's taking place at the constituency branch office of the New National Party out there in St. David. Make sure that you go on out and give your full support to the team out there in St. David. Good night to you, Mrs. Nolene Thompson. I say a special good night, and special good night to your mom and dad and so on. Yeah, special good night, what? Special good night to the whole family. Right? Your husband, your children, everybody. Good night to the whole home circle. All right, so the branch at barbecue is taking place tomorrow from 1 p.m. Make sure you pass through. They have drinks on sale and so on. So make a little pass through. Remember the back to school special at K&R Bookstore. I keep advertising it because I know it is going to benefit a lot of people who are having problems to buy the stuff for their children. It is a good opportunity. Buy one, get one free. You have twins. You buy for one twin, you get for the next twin free. Yeah? So that is taking place on H.A. Blaze Street. That bookstore, they when you're coming, well, of course, when you're coming down H.A. Blaze Street, they're on your right in the Bailey's building. Yeah, you go in there and you'll find K&R Bookstore and you get that special. Tell them sheldon send you. Yeah, right. Tell them sheldon send you. You never know, you might get something extra special. All right, we have the young one here, still in Grenada, hasn't gone off yet and needs to go. This young lady needs to go, folks. She needs to go. All right. Yeah, Kelani needs to go. All right, she needs to go back to the U.S. And of course, our good friends at We Noise. Let me just get this started here. Hold 1 second. Yeah, let me just get them there for you.
For more information, contact We Noise TV at 929-445-4463, or you can email us at wenoisetv@gmail.com. We Noise TV, the leading streaming provider. Anytime, anywhere, any screen. Access to your favorite HD contents with prices as low as ever. Choose from monthly, quarterly, or yearly payments. This worldwide service is flexible for you to keep up with all your favorite programs, shows, movies, and local programming from home no matter where you travel to. Worldwide TV channels right at your fingertips wherever you are. Latest in live sports, binge watch all your favorite TV shows, movies on demand, videos on demand. You can pause, rewind, fast forward anytime. Never miss 1 minute in entertainment important to you. No contracts, no added prices for sports or premium packages. We certainly don't have to pull tricks like cable and satellite companies. Our product speaks for itself and beyond. We Noise TV. We have everything like Netflix, Disney, Amazon. Watch your favorite movies, TV shows, and series with our services. With our service, you will get rid of all other subscriptions. For more information, contact We Noise TV at 929-445-4463, or you can email us at wenoisetv@gmail.com.
Fitness Revolution 11 2025. 16 days of fun, fitness, laughter, energy. I just want to encourage everybody to come down to both Tantin, Old Trafford playing field and Monroe's Granans for our eventful fun, fitness and giveaways. Fitness Revolution 11, one and all. See you there.
Yes, indeed, folks. Let me see. And oh, yes, folks, also remember the meet and greet that's coming up with the Honorable Emmeline Pierre. And that is taking place, organized by Mrs. Sonia Penny and Mr. J. Marichaud. That's drinks on sale, free food, and prizes to be won. That's taking place at J. Marichaud's residence in Belmont, St. Patrick. That's close to the estate up there in St. Patrick. All are welcome. That's going to be taking place on the 26th of July. And it starts from 1:30 p.m. So those of you that can make it, hope to see you all there. That's the meet and greet that is being hosted by Mrs. Sonia Penny and Mr. J. Marichaud up there in St. Patrick at the Belmont, in Belmont, near to the Belmont estate up there in St. Patrick, at Mr. J. Marichaud's residence. And also meet the caretaker. Well, that one finished already. Yeah, meet the caretaker was this evening with Brother Cox, so that one finished already. And hey, the same people that won soca, right? Yeah, one soca, they have the bingo night. That's taking place on July the 22nd up there. And where's the location? 65 Putnam Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11238 at the Mechanics Temple. Music by Mix Master Gus and hosted by Hercules. Big prize of $10,000, jackpot prizes of $3,000. All right, so that one is happening as well. And indeed, we want to thank one soca, one soca for bringing talking points to you. Indeed. So, folks, I'm just going to take a short while I try to connect with Brother Dabrio, and I believe he is up already. Let me just make sure I have Brother Dabrio there good, and think, because you know we must have Alvin Day.
This is your son of the soil. A man that grew up on fish oil. This is your son of the soil. Alvin is a man on a mission. A man with compassion. He knows right from wrong. He have a plan for St. John.
Hello?
The FM station, television program, investing in public.
Yes, indeed, and I believe we have the Honorable Alvin Dabrio on with us. Good night, sir.
Good night, Sheldon, and good night to all the listeners.
Well,
are you hearing me?
Yeah, we're hearing you very clear, sir. We're hearing you. We hope that you are hearing us very clearly. We're hearing you as
Yes, I am.
Great.
Yes, I am hearing you very clearly.
Great, indeed. And let me just bring you up so the folks can see you, because welcome to Talking Points for 2025. We know that you're always listening. We know that we always speak to you otherwise in and between. But I think it's the first time that you've got the opportunity to be on with us. And we know that you've been extremely busy as well. I know you were involved in helping up there in Carriacou for quite a bit. From the time the thing happened, I know you've been trying to help the folks up there in Carriacou. And now we see Alvin Day, in Cloget, Alvin Day, all over Alvin Day. How have things been going, sir?
Yeah, well, it's been going good. And as you said, I was busy in both Carriacou and PT Martinique, working with Flo there to get systems back up and running. So that's done. So I'm back here and concentrating on the political work now.
Indeed, indeed. And the people of St. John, they seem to have been missing you, because all we are past is Alvin Day, you know. I mean, you keep hearing from the people in St. John, when Alvin was there, this didn't used to happen. When Alvin was there, that didn't used to happen. Everybody used to break our bread. Everybody got something, be it the bushing, be it whatever it was, a little project. Alvin made sure it happened. And you keep hearing that.
Yes, because a lot of people, well, now you have something to compare, because before they didn't have the new representative that there is now in St. John. Well, during the campaign, they had lots of funds available, so they were able to spend money and make people believe that this is what it would be like if they won. And she did won, but now the people realizing it's they made a mistake. They're not getting the representation that they hoped they were going to get, because she's missing in action all the time, and most of the times she doesn't really know what's going on in St. John's, because the plans that going on in Mondo, she had a meeting with the villagers, and when they were asking her what's going on, she said she doesn't know. You have the issue with the Concord Waterfalls, where this is our major attraction in St. John, and she is not there fighting for the villagers or the people that make a living with the falls, and it's for the whole constituency, because this is one of the main attractions that we have. And I also want to take the water above the falls, which will severely diminish the beauty and the water flow coming from the falls, when all they have to do is just take the water at the bottom of the falls. It's the same water, and they would not interfere with the integrity of the falls, and they would be getting the water. But she is not there, or the people is not seeing her taking this leadership role and fighting for them. We see areas of even the bushing. You have a lot of bush all over especially the feeder roads, the farm roads, the cemeteries. So we do not have any proper representation here, sad to say.
Indeed, and there's so many things that I've been hearing from the people of St. John. And let me say a special good night to the guys out there on the lands who listening every night. I know a group of them, they get together and they listen to the program while they're hanging out. And so I need to say, I haven't said it for a while, a special good night to you all and my good friends up there in Mount Granby, my friends in Clogier. Mr. Handsome, I know he's listening. All of you out there in Clogier and Black Bay, all the different areas that listen to the program on a nightly basis. And Brother Dabrio, you mentioned that an issue a short while ago, the Concord Waterfall. Some persons may have heard you say that and they don't know what the issue is. Can you clarify for folks what the issue is and why there are several people concerned about what is going to be taking place there?
Yes, well, Nawasa wants to take the water, more water from at the top of the falls. They are running a large water mains up the Falls Road, which means that the road would be out for quite a number of months. It would be close to vehicular traffic. And the fall attraction itself, taking the water there would diminish the water flow from the top of the fall. So you would not have the magnificent fall that we have there anymore. And also, in addition to that, there's quite a few people that make their livelihood up there, vendors, for when the tourists come.
Mm-hmm.
So they also were not consulted with what is happening. And we're not seeing the representation of the MP in trying to fight for these people are trying to make their livelihood up there. Like, she's missing in action. As a matter of fact, I understand, well, I wouldn't say what she said, but it was not nice what she said about the Concord people when they had a meeting. So the other thing too is even with the plant, I understand that in Halifax Harbor, they want to put a jetty there. But that again, because Halifax Harbor is a beautiful ecosystem. You have a wetland right there. You have about 100 yards of beach, and you have fishermen that use their nets there, and also people doing sea moss farming there. Mm-hmm. And the wetlands is right there from the fresh water.
And whereas when you say Halifax Harbor, you're speaking about the area to the bottom of Woodford now. where
Yes,
Renault
yes.
is looking to put the plant. Okay, yeah.
They put a jetty, yeah, to bring in materials for the plant. And there is, right in Perseverance, there is a little jetty there that was built for bringing in, I think, Grenada even bringing the engine there before, and other things that came in there for the other asphalt plant in Perseverance. So this is the ideal place to use, not to go and spoil the beach in Halifax Harbour and to spoil that ecosystem. And we're not getting leadership, and she's Minister of Environment. So there are a lot of people are coming to me complaining, but as I say, I'm not the representative, but I guess they're coming to me because they feel that they are not getting proper representation.
Indeed. And so that issue, I listened to the MP speaking on that particular issue. And while listening to her, she sounded as someone that didn't know what really going on. She had no idea what is going on. She didn't know that they were moving there. In fact, she openly said that she didn't know that they were doing the project there. She hear when the residents start to talk about it is when she hear that the project taking place there. And she even threw the Prime Minister, who is Minister of Infrastructure, under the bus by saying that his ministry didn't really tell her as the MP that this thing was taking place, and the CTO, etc., didn't tell her. I mean, you were in a ministry, you were an MP, 2 terms for St. John. Could something like that have happened under an NP administration? You come in Alvin constituency and do something and Alvin don't know?
Yeah, definitely. This is definitely unheard of. And if I see anything happening, I would make it my business to find out exactly what is happening there. I would also find out if there was a proper environmental study done, or how it would impact the people in the area and the constituency. But I guess in this case, they have nothing like that had happened. And now that the villagers are complaining, I think they're trying to do what they should have done in the beginning. Just like in Clogé, what they're supposed to do first, they're doing last. Mm-hmm. And this is costing the taxpayers a lot of money. And it's a sign of very poor management by this administration. It just does not know how to do things efficient, and they're costing the taxpayers a lot of money. And we living in a time when the cost of living is so high, money is hard to get, and they just seem to be spending it. They just seem to be wasting it.
Yes, indeed. So I listened to the MP speaking in relation to that Clogé issue. And I was kind of leaving Clogé issue for later down, but since you raise it now, let's go right into it. Now, we've seen what happened in Clogé. Number one, there's this claim that, well, EDSO for years and Alvin didn't do nothing about it and they never do anything on road. I remember going to Clogé. In fact, there's a picture that I see nearly daily of yourself and Honorable Gregory Bowen cutting a ribbon up in Clogé there in relation to a road that was done there. I know of several bridges and roads and so on that were done around St. John. So it's unfair, untrue. Basically, I'd say it's even a dotish statement to make that Alvin Dabrio didn't do anything and he never fixed any bridge and any road. There are projects that you left that have not been completed. Give us a little rundown in relation to the Clogé situation and the general situation.
And yeah, so just before I go to that, you talk about they always saying that NNP didn't fix this and NNP didn't do that. But I want to remind you, Sheldon, that in the past, say, 19 years, NNP has been in office for 9 years, and NDC has been in office for about 8 years, almost the same, right? So why is it that they're always talking about what NNP didn't do? When I came into office, there was an NDC government that preceded my time, and now they're there for now over 3 years going. So why is it that you're playing crybaby? Yeah, well, I inherited that, or that predates me. But when you campaign, you did not campaign on that. You campaign on making things better, bringing down cost of living, better health care, better education, eliminating poverty, and all these things that making everybody prominent. That's what they were talking. But right now, you get the opportunity and you're just trying to blame NNP. But anything that NNP started, like the airport construction, you look at Six Sense in last address, the Monkuma Road, and the list goes on. They're taking credit for that. Anything that happened in their time that they should fix, they're running away from it.
Yeah.
We in Gulf here, Mongo Road was damaged by Hurricane Beryl. It's now impossible, and it's going on over a year. It's still impossible, and they don't seem to be doing anything with Mongo Road. Going to closure now, you see, under the NNP administration, any contract over $15,000 had to go to the tenders board. And the tenders board was made up with the CTO in works. You had a local civil engineer, the attorney general, people of that caliber. So anything over 15,000, you had to have more than one bid. And then the bidders would show that they have the means to do the job, right? They have changed it so that the MP could give up to 150,000 contracts without no bidding or without going to the tenders board. So what you see happening now is because, and you see it happening in the housing where the Minister of Housing is saying the housing is terrible, and you have Andy saying it's good, and this is what happens when you take out all these checks and balances that were in place and just trying to make yourself look popular or whatever the reason it is why they're doing that. But we as a people and a country, we are suffering. And going back to closure, when they started in the first place, you do not start work in these areas in the rainy season. Number one. Number two, before you start doing this work there, you have to make sure you manage your drainage and your water, because wherever you're excavating, you do not want water there. The third part is you do not disturb the vegetation, because once you disturb the vegetation, what it is that the ground there will be saturated. None of this happened. They started the excavation, and then you see the road started to crack. They should immediately stop excavating and try to remedy that. They did not. They continued excavating, and the area started sliding, and they still continued excavating. And then you're wondering, where is the Minister of Works? Where is the MP? Where is the engineers? Like, who is leading us? You have right now a whole village that's shut off. People are suffering there. The cost is very high because they have to pay when they want like a pound of sugar, whatever. They have to go all the way to Grenada, or you have to walk to the site and take transportation at the end of it to go to Gulf, come back and do the same thing. So it's very difficult for the people up there. If you get sick, if you have a fire, the fire truck can go up. So, and up to now, the people up there have not heard from the Minister of Infrastructure or the MP as to what is happening or what's the way forward, or to listen to the concerns. This is the kind of government, and it's terrible and it's sad.
And we're actually we over 2 weeks now since this has happened, probably roughly about 2 weeks, and even before, long before the collapse that took place there, I had been getting messages, and I'm sure you were getting the same messages, of the deterioration of the road. And I have a particular friend that was messaging me nearly every other day and saying, boy, the road going down, what they're doing there, they're doing something, that road is going to collapse. And so said, so done. And you wonder, was the soil tested? Was a proper, did they test to see if there's water there? Did they test all these things? For them to say they burst an Nawasa main and Nawasa missed that main, and that is the main with the water in it. No wonder closure people having problem for water, because you missing a main that have water in it. Closure people has a problem for water when they're ready, And you have, and a place like Clogier, out of all places, having problem for water. And you telling me that you didn't know that that main is there and it burst, blaming Nawasa, I don't buy it. I honestly don't buy it. They're just trying to pass the blame.
Well, before you do any construction like that, one of the first things to do is to locate where the utilities are passed. If the power line would be overhead, in some cases it's underground. But you locate where your water or your utilities are, and then you would have system in place in case you have an emergency, because most time if you're excavating, you might hit the line or something would happen. So you don't come now and say that as if, hey, this is the reason for it. It's just show you that it's poor planning. Yes, very poor planning.
I listened this afternoon. There was a release that was put out by the Government Information Service in relation to the Clogier project. And in that release, they were saying that they didn't mention, I can't remember them mentioning pipe. They spoke to groundwater, that the ministry has brought in somebody outside of the ministry, an engineer from outside of the ministry, to help them deal with the particular issue, to give them advice on how to address the issue. And they are now deciding that, hey, we're going to have to drill some holes and see how far the rock that they're doing the wall on, we have to see how far that rock goes down. And we're now going to have to drill some holes. I can't remember the term they use to drill to see if there's water in different spots, different areas. These are things that should have been done before, not now. And the worst part is, while they're saying that, there's an excavator working in the background, and I'm trying to figure out now, what is the excavator doing? Because you don't know what you're dealing with. You have a team of engineers, etc. They're trying to tell you what you need to do. Yet still you have an excavator and other things going on there where you could be making the problem worse because you don't know what you're dealing with. And I'm trying to wonder what's going through these people's heads.
Yeah. And another thing they did, they took the soil from the bottom of the road where it's sliding and they put it at the top of the road, right, which is adding more weight to the area. And they blocked the road with some coal mix to divert the water, and they divert it right in the area that they walk in rather than going on the opposite side to send it down in the ravine. So it just shows you that whatever is happening there, it's just real Mickey Mouse. And it's sad because you have a whole village that's cut off and they're suffering.
Yes, indeed. And that's the part of it that I think a lot of folks miss. We speak about the project, we speak about the errors that have been made and all of that and the challenges that they're meeting on the project. But in all of this, there's a homeowner that's about to lose their home. Let's just face it. There's nothing they're going to do now that will save that home. It's already cracked right around it, it's cracked and so on. The home will go. So you got to that stage now that home has to be condemned. If it has not already been condemned, it should be condemned. And you also have the people who are in Clogier, who you just spoke about, that have to come down to that point, and not just get a transport on the other side, but hope they get a transport on the other side. Other than that, they have to walk down further. They have to hope they get a transport on the other end to get down. The farmers, those who go into the St. John to do their produce on a weekly basis, they have a problem. The other people that, well, I was hearing the story of some of them that have to sell their nutmegs, and to take one bag of nutmeg, to say going to Grenville to sell it, you have to spend $100 for the transport at least, and you ain't making that off of the bag of nutmeg. You just admit it, you're not making that off of it. So they have to wait now till everybody else get bags of nutmeg to try and do one trip to go to Grenville. The difficulties that the people are going through.
And at the same time, you have to pay the people that picking up the nutmeg. So if you don't sell it, how would you pay them?
That's the whole thing that they're going through, and it's very unfair what these people are going through.
And if you need something, you have to pay to get transport all the way from Grenville to come to Clogier before it is to come from Guelph. You have to get some goods. It's very difficult, very, very difficult. And the sad part about it is that the government, you're not hearing from them. They're not offering any solutions to the people, to the suffering.
And indeed,
remember the same prime minister that talk about Molinier, he said that if they were in office, they would fix Molinier in 2 months. Because anytime you have any major road, they would make it a priority. We have Mabuya that's gone. Last year, Fisherman Body was closed. This year, Fisherman Body make it a year since you closed it. And when you were wanting to be prime minister, you said any part of the major road that's going down, you would have it fixed in 2 months. You would stop everything and get it done. Right? That's what he said. I have him on tape. So I want to know what he's doing about Mabuya Road. People still have to come back up through Mount Nesbitt, whereas when we took office, they were using Mount Nesbitt. When we left office, people was using Mabuya. So we did do something there.
Yeah.
But now it's slide again. And then the money that we got from British government to fix this area, to fix the whole Western corridor, you remember they said they lost it. They didn't try to blame the NNP. But whoever they sent, I think it was Andy and whoever they sent to negotiate with the British, they came back and say, we lost the money. Because what they were thinking is that NNP would look bad, right? Rather than going and try to fight to retain the money to do the project, they were happy. They came back in glee that the money was lost. And that money was supposed to fix the whole Western corridor. And that we lost because of them.
And again, you were instrumental in securing that money, because I remember the British Prime Minister at the time, David Cameron, coming to Grenada and making a point of coming to Guave in particular, coming to St. John and coming to Guave, walking the streets of Guave, going to the Nutmeg Center and so on, going to see where the bridges were that needed to be changed and so on. We saw the British Prime Minister come up to St. John to make sure that he saw for himself, and yourself, Prime Minister Mitchell and Prime Minister Dave Cameron going through the streets of Guave. And after all of that, after you secure the money for it, these people send two people and lose the money. Oh, goodness.
Exactly. And the project has started. So all they had to do was just remind the British, yes, that we still need the project, right? We had COVID, so we were shut down for a couple of years, because of COVID. So that severely delayed us, but now that's behind us and we want to move forward. That's all they had to say. But they came back in glee. They thought NNP would look bad because they lost the money. But that's the mentality.
And that particular project, there was a lot that had to happen with that. That would have fixed a lot of the roads and bridges on the West Coast, and also there was the aspect to deal with the rockfall and so on, if I remember correctly.
Exactly.
So
right from the stadium to Waltham, yes, right through.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, I don't think people really realize what these individuals have lost, and they're trying to blame NNP.
Exactly.
NNP gets it in the first place. And you couldn't do anything in COVID?
And you remember when he lost, the Prime Minister talked about doing a route from Sotes to St. George's, so we'll be there in half an hour? That's what he said. Big dreamer.
Joke thing.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what he offered for solution for losing that project. He said we're going to build a road from Sotes to St. George's in half an hour. And that is who we have leading us.
Yeah.
The same man that talked about getting the big trucks and to shake down the mango tree and guava tree to put mango and thing on your table. We still waiting to see all that pie in the sky thing he talked about.
And then he was saying not pie in the sky, pie on your table, but we're waiting to see the pie on the table up to this point in time. Brother Dabrio, I again, when it came to that Western Road project, it would have been especially helpful, because I remember one situation. I remember Prime Minister Mitchell at a point in time speaking to a situation where there was a busman that he bought a brand new bus. It wasn't even 2 weeks yet he bought the brand new bus. And he was coming down on the West Coast and there was rockfall. And one of the rocks hit the man bus and mashed up his windscreen. Brand new bus, just about 2 weeks out, the man have his bus and so on. And came to the then NNP government, and the government made the decision that they would help the man fix back the bus and everything and get him back on track and so on. And that is the things that this project would have been avoiding. People wouldn't have to be wondering now, well, rainfall heavy last night, they're driving, but they're trying to keep away from the side that because they know the rocks would come down every now and again. They're trying to keep away. that it would have been able to stabilize a lot of the areas, and it would have been able to create a lot of employment. I could tell you that. Because if you're doing that project there, that you're talking literally a couple hundred jobs you'd have created as well.
Well, yes, because we identify all the areas where they have the dangerous overhanging rocks that needed to be fixed on the road. But Sheldon, the same guy they sent to England, wherever Barbados, right, to negotiate for the money. That is the same guy who was saying people can't eat road. I'm not sure if you saw a video with him saying people can't eat road. So the guy that's saying you can't eat road, meaning that we don't want road, is the same guy you're gonna send to negotiate road on our behalf. Real Mickey Mouse.
And folks, we're speaking with Mr. Alvin Dabrio. He's the new National Party caretaker for St. John, and he is also the two-time representative of St. John, the fishing capital of Grenada. How was the fisherman's birthday this year? I saw you in the church and everything up front in church. And so how was the fisherman's birthday? And outside of the fisherman's birthday, what is taking place with the fishing industry in St. John at this point in time? Because I realize things are kind of low ebb. You just know when them guys have money, eh? You just know when them guys in St. John have money. You just feel it in the place. The shopkeepers could tell you, you could just pass and you know when those guys have money. You're not seeing that these days. What is taking place?
Well, it's not here. It's not happening. And in the first place, all the grants and low interest loans that we had in place, with the combination of loan and grant for the fishermen, under my term, there was quite a number of fishermen that got these loans to buy boats, engines, and the works. Well, they have stopped that. So you do not have they do not have that access to the funds so that they could develop the fishing, the fleet, and whatever their needs are. Mm-hmm. In addition to, there is they were talking all the negotiations that we had, right, for additional flights coming in. Sister Clarice Modest was doing that. After the election, everything fell through. They didn't follow up with that. And there is, those would have been the I don't think anything happened.
And that would have been the avenue, because you spoke of the flights and people may think it's speaking of fishing, but the flights were to get the fish out of Grenada. You're talking an industry that could bring in as much as $40-50 million into the economy. And those flights would have been, you get the tuna, and you're able to get the tuna out of Grenada in the shortest period of time.
Yes, exactly. So all those negotiations went through, and I'm not seeing or hearing anything that they're doing to really revive these things or do anything in the fishing industry. They promise quite a lot, but I'm not seeing anything being delivered. And talking to the fishermen is the same thing that they say. What they promise them, they're not seeing it happening. And as you say, you're not feeling anything happening in that industry. Because even they had even the fisherman body in St. George's for the fishermen there, they just abruptly shut it down. Mm-hmm. Remember, they had the chairs and tent and everything laid out, and we had even in St. John here, the same MP announced after church that she would be giving out vouchers and fishing things to the fishermen, but only who came to the RC church that day. And she said, don't anybody come into our office to ask him for anything, because they would not get anything. So after the church service, I went up to her and I says, well, it's not all fisher folks that are Catholic. So why you only give who come into church? In addition, the same after I left Wharf, I went to Mass in Ronroy, and the priest went and blessed the boats there. I was with them, and they went to Old Road. There was also service in Concord. So why are you not? Why are you depriving them? Why? They are fisher folks too. So it just shows you the type of leader that we have here.
Pettiness.
And it's sad.
Pettiness, yeah.
Sad but true.
And you know, especially at a point in time like this, when you have that situation where many fishermen every year, and this one hurts my heart every year, you're hearing of fishermen going out to sea and not coming back. And any opportunity to help them, to give them that funding that they would be able to, one, to buy the necessary equipment. So if they get in trouble out there, at least they're able to preserve their lives and to contact back to mainland to say, hey, or to other boats to say we are out here and we taking on water, or engine is stalled or whatever it is. And instead of trying to help find ways of providing funding for them, they cut the funding that these people would be getting through things like the GDB, etc. They cut the funding. I remember
Exactly.
a young man called this program and saying that he was trying to get a boat, and I believe that young man may have been from St. John or St. Mark. And when he went, just for the money to get the boat, and so they just bluntly refused him. He could not access that money through the GDB to be able to get a boat. And I mean, a boat is something that will bring in money. So all of these things, and then there's a problem again with fishermen. You park up your boat, you come back, your engine gone. All of these issues that they are facing, and then you just have a non-existent MP that doesn't seem interested in any of that. They're more interested in changing clothes every 2 minutes and traveling. And I wouldn't like to tell you some of what I hear about when the MP travel as representation. I wouldn't go into that tonight. But that seems to be their interest, not serving the people of St. John.
But as I say, we talking about the MP always like to call people dunce and illiterate many times. But yet still, in the same fisherman body, the speech she gave in the church, she said that we lost 500 fisher folks at sea. So I don't know where she get that stats from.
Well, between World
but
War
even
II and
that
between
number,
World War II and now. Or between
even
Columbus and now.
even in Columbus, I don't think 500 people died at sea out in Guave here. I don't understand. But it just shows you.
Just for Guave?
Yes, yes.
No, she talking about since back in the Caribs and Arawaks and them kind of thing. But them, I even think they lose the amount of people back in them days.
Yeah,
them guys used to take kayak and go up all down Trinidad and thing. So I didn't even feel back then. No, but
so it just shows you, you're not even doing your research and you're saying things without even thinking. That
indeed,
that's who.
You have been in Carriacou and Petit Martinique, so you also saw the situation with the fisher folk in Carriacou and Petit Martinique as well, both in Carriacou and Petit Martinique and St. John. So you have a better view of what is taking place than most persons. You spend significant time on each of the islands and in each of the areas where there is heavy fishing.
Yes, and within about around 10 days or so after the hurricane, they received the $118 million. And they even tried to take credit for that, right? Until the insurer said no. It was the NNP government that took out this insurance in case we have a disaster. And then we have a disaster. You'd think that they would immediately spend that money to bring back normal life to the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. But no, they put money in the GDP. They take insurance money and put it in some of it in the GDP. So you have where they're charging you interest and everything. But I say that money was not for that.
No.
And many other things that they spend the money for, well, no, they can't account for a lot of it. And you have so much people in Petit Martinique and Carriacou still without roof, fishermen without boats, and who have lost their livelihoods, and they just don't seem to care. I remember after the hurricane he flew over Carriacou and Petit Martinique with hurricane, and he just had some people saying, yes, well, look, the PM came and he fly over, not like Keith Mitchell after Ivan. That's what they were saying. Where is him? When have he gone back in Carriacou and Petit Martinique to make sure that everybody have their roofs now and who have their boat and all the other livelihood, that they're back to normal, when they had received all that money to ensure that happened?
And again, even tonight, and I always make sure to say that, there are mothers with children sleeping in tents in Carriacou and in Petit Martinique tonight. still sleeping in
Exactly.
tents. And some
Yeah.
people may say, well, okay, a year passed, these people can help themselves. The business places some of these people were working in don't exist again, you know. It gone, it disappeared, it no longer exists on the planet. The hurricane
Well,
went with that. They don't have a job in some instances. They have the job, but with the salary that they're getting, they can't do it. So they need the help.
and a lot of them had little shops and stuff, but that's all gone in the hurricane. So your means of income is gone. So if they did not use that insurance money to help these people get back on their feet, how would they get back on their feet? And that's what I'm saying. That was what the money was for. But it totally, I don't want to. It's sad, but this is the kind of government that we have, and we're suffering for it. It's time that they're supposed to go.
Now, I want to ask you about an issue for the people of St. John. Now, in your tenure, during your period of time, you ensured that the medical facility that now exists in St. John was constructed. There were specific plans for that facility and the services that facility would be offering. Now, after the elections, we're seeing a totally different situation now. What were the plans and what is taking place with that facility?
And so the budget was there. If you look at the budget for 2022 that was passed by the NNP, you would see that there was money in the Ministry of Health for that facility, right? This was supposed to be a 24-hour facility. And in addition, we had Grenadians from abroad that sent stuff for that facility. Right now, the storeroom is empty. They took it all out. And
so you're saying
what
that stuff was there in the storeroom just to
Yeah.
outfit it, and that stuff is gone now.
Exactly. That stuff is gone. We don't even have one bed. Not one child was delivered in that facility, right? And that's such a beautiful facility there. And had they, right, do with the facility what it was meant to do, it would alleviate a lot of problems. First of all, it would reduce the amount of time that people have to spend on the road to get medical care driving to St. John's. And it would also relieve some of the stress or the burdens of that hospital there from people from St. Mark's and St. John's going to the General Hospital. So it would have made it easier for them there and make it better for the people of St. John and St. Mark's on the whole Western Corridor to find at a central location to have good healthcare services, and it was budgeted for, right? So they just, all they have is there now is just the same old health center.
Just all they have now is basically a shell. Whereas because I believe there was supposed to have been a dental chair was supposed to be at that facility. So if you had to do your dental, you didn't have to leave, go off and go down to town to go and get your filling done or your extraction or whatever work you have. It could have been done right there in St. John. As you mentioned, birthing of children, delivery of children, that could have been done up there instead of having to rush down to town now to try and get that done. All of that was supposed to be taking place there.
The only thing they have more security staff there than medical staff. That's all they have there. Just security for their supporters. No medical staff. No security than medical.
I wonder who has the contract. That would be interesting.
You understand?
To find out who has
That's
the
what
contract.
they're interested in, and not to put that money in good health services. Because if you're interested in good security, right? One camera works 24/7. It does not sleep. It does not take day off, and it's accurate. So all you need to do is just put some good camera systems there. But what they do is just with their people, give security contracts and not spending money on the medical facility and medical personnel, which is what they should have been doing.
Am I incorrect, or is there a helipad there as well that a helicopter would be able to land there in case of an emergency at the top level? I remember part of the plans were to have that. Was that part included in the project in the end?
Yeah, because there is two parking lot. There's one at the top and one at the bottom. So in case you needed that, you just move on the traffic if you had emergency. But that was down the road, when it became fully operational. But it was in part of the planning of in the design stage.
But it's also a good part in the planning, because we know what happens if the West Coast Road is cut off. And especially right now, we have to pray and keep our fingers crossed, and with toes and even we eye and all crossed, because if the West Coast Road cut off between Guave and town right now, you can't pass through closure to say you're going to the hospital over there or so. You either had to take it in the sea, or you have to go around through St. Patrick and head down on the East Coast to do whatever you have to do. Because right now, the alternative route is out. So if that health facility had been up to the level it needed to be, you could sleep a little easier, that in case there's a rock fall, a landslide or something, that at least you could get what immediate first set of treatment that you need to get. You can get it there in St. John. But as it is right now, we have to be severely worried, because that facility is not what it is supposed to be. It is not that right now. And then they say, well, we reach it and we meet it empty, because the stuff was there in the storeroom. It had been open just a couple weeks, and the stuff was there in the storeroom. But as you said, it's disappeared now.
But we had money budgeted there, and it's public information, the budget. So just look at the budget, look what was budgeted for and what was spent in the year 2022, 2023, 2024, and now we're in 2025. And all the time we were under an NDC government, although they trying to blame everything on NNP. But 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, it's all under NDC government.
And I want folks to know as well that that facility was not just for the people of St. John, but would also have served the people of St. Mark and St. Patrick as well, because some of the services that would have been offering there are services that now these people who are in St. Mark and St. Patrick have to pass St. John straight and head down to town for, where they would have been able to receive those treatments, those different procedures would have been able to be done right there at that polyclinic in St. John. Another failure of the NDC. And again, it's always NDC when it comes to this facility, because I remember before, it was supposed to have been, the idea started prior to 2008. Then they came in and the project was that was the end of it. You came in and you got it started again, you got the funding, you got it done and everything. And now NDC again is just like, they have a problem with St. John people and St. Mark people and St. Patrick people having access to proper health care. Because to me, it seems that they have a problem with that.
And another thing too, I were on a to the point program, and one of the callers there was one of the NDC activists was boasting about the railings that they putting up. But if you look, the railings that they putting up, it's just because they do not want to build retaining walls. And I know they don't have the competence to build retaining walls. We could see that now, watching what closure is happening. But those railings are narrowing the road, right? And making it more dangerous. And we have more vehicles now. The roads are busier, but now you're narrowing them. And you see it happening all in Concord, Bamboo, in the same Mondo, going on by Perseverance. And that's what they're doing. Rather than spending the money to do a proper retaining wall and fix the road properly, it's just a quick fix, narrow it with some railings. And they want to be proud of that. Sad.
And this is after they've already lost the Western Main Road project that would have done those retaining walls and would have got all of these things done. Now they're doing the band-aid sort of thing where they could have had surgery. Now they're having a little band-aid put on something and a little stitches here and a band-aid put on it with some of the purple solution, whatever they just call it, getting put on it. But and again, as you said, how they're doing it, it is affecting the width of the road according to how they do it.
Yes.
It's not what you do sometimes, but how you do it. So it is affecting the width of the road.
Exactly. And another thing which is important, folks, because we in St. John, we have never had a housing scheme. Many parishes and stuff had housing scheme, but not us. So I was able, and with the help of Delma Thomas, right, secured funding for the housing project in Stony Gut and in Black Bay. Right, the money was budgeted there, and if you look in 2022, 2023, the money was budgeted. The same Prime Minister talked about the project in Stony Gut. Then they took out the money from the budget, and when asked, the city, the MP said the land was sold. The big lie. How can you go in Parliament and blatantly lie like that? The land is still there, right? They just did not do the housing project as promised. So we're still waiting to see if the time they have left, if they're gonna do that housing project in Stony Gut and Black Bay, because the money was approved. And what is hurtful is that when she was lying like that, Delma Thomas sit down there and did not say she is lying. The same Delma Thomas that was there when we got the money approved. You see?
So she knows very well that what this girl is saying is a lie. And she doesn't
Exactly.
challenge it. She doesn't even
doesn't.
send a little note over. You know, sometimes in Parliament, they send a little note over and they send a note over and they say, hey, no, withdraw that. That ain't correct.
Yeah.
That ain't correct. Nothing.
Yeah. And she knew it was a lie. She knows the land is there. And we have all the drawings. The drawing is in the Grenada Housing Authority. And the Ministry of Works had all the drawing because they were the one that were designing the road and to put the road to bring to the project. And the money, as I said, the money was approved there to Grenada Housing Authority for both projects.
So you're saying at this point in time, had the New National Party won the election, that project would have already started. You may not have completed the houses yet, but you would have already started the process of building out the houses and having the lots organized and so by this point in time.
Oh yeah, by now. Definitely. Because when during everything was on stream to happen, the drawings was approved, the people, the housing that were gonna do the housing, the same people with the same drawing from the prefab house, they are using them now. When you see that 500 home project they're talking about,
project
it's the same
500.
people that use it. They took the drawings that we had for Stony Gut, and that's what they're using.
So what's sin? And I need to ask you that because sometimes I just have to ask, what sin did the people of St. John commit that they're being treated like this? Because I know of many individuals and many families that really need a housing project like that in St. John's. As you mentioned, St. John, St. Patrick have had, St. Mark have had, St. George have had, St. David, St. Andrew has had.
Exactly.
St. Mark,
Carriacou
has had.
Yes, really only that did.
Yeah, St. John has
And then we
had.
finally got everything approved. And then they had to pull it away from the people of St. John's.
No,
Yes.
This is totally unfair. Around how many units were planned for that Stony Gut project itself? About how many units could you remember were planned for that area? I had the plans. I actually had the plans on one of these computers here, you know, and I'm searching for it while I'm talking to you and I can't find it. But I actually had the plans and everything for it because there are many people in St. John, and you're speaking about even people in Cloget who may have wanted to come out from Cloget and come down to another area. You have people in Florida. You have people all over, people who are on the lands right now that may say, listen, if something like that coming there, I want to move from the lands, I want to go up there. People in Mount Granby and Mount Nesbitt, wherever it is, that would have wanted to go over into that Stony Gut project, and now nothing. Nothing.
Yes.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Yes.
It's-
That's them. Because even the people along the Landsbridge River there, which was flooded out under the Tillman Thomas led NDC administration, they promised they were going to provide housing for them
Yeah, I remember that.
and relocate them. Yes. And from that project that we were doing, they were going to be houses there available for these people. Yes.
Let me
So
ask that question as well. You did a video the other day in the Mount Granby area with the Mount Granby facility, but I think a lot of people didn't get what you were talking about with the facility up there in Mount Granby. Explain to folks what is taking place there, because well, let me let you go ahead and explain. I think I understand what you were doing, but let's explain to folks what was taking place there in Mount Granby, the reason that you were pointing out that particular facility.
Right. Because, we were going to do the playing field and the health and the community center. We started with the playing field. The lights were bought and paid for the playing field. Construction started. We also did work downstairs, the community center. When they came in, they took the lights that were bought from Mount Granby playing field, and I think it went down in some St. George's South somewhere, right? And they gutted the building upstairs, the community center. And it's been over a year. People cannot use the community center. That's what I was saying. At least in our time, you could have used it, but now you can't. There is no doors, no windows. It's just an open place, right? Over a year. So this is what the point that I was making. You have deprived the community of the community center for so long.
Yeah, and I brought that up because I realized a lot of people who not from Mount Granby and spend no time in Mount Granby don't understand what you're talking about, started to attack you. Well, because somebody attacks, I don't really care about that, but started to attack you on it. And I'm hearing as well that, if I'm not incorrect, that the Chinese government has provided funding to do a project there. And this is still the situation at the Mount Granby facility, that funds have been provided, significant funding to do that project. May know what take place with the funds, but we're seeing the state of the Mount Granby facility right now.
Right, so that's what I was just trying to point out, that the facility, after all the was spent, the people still cannot use it. I see people like this guy from Montgomery there. Ali is his name? Ali Dowden. Talking about Mount Granby.
No,
but
not
I
Ali.
wanted
I doubt it would be Ali Dowden. I feel it could be another person, not Ali.
Because I just wanted to realize that, hey, I'm not talking Mount Morris, I'm talking Mount Granby. So let him get his facts straight. Yes.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. And the thing is this, when you're speaking about the different issues, you're not speaking on issues because the issues are your issues. You're speaking on the issues because the people in the community have pointed it out as an issue to you. And that is why you're pointing it out and you're saying, listen, something needs to be done in relation to this. Either lives are being endangered, lives are being affected. You're pointing out issues because you've been to the community, unlike certain MP. You've been to the community and the people are saying, this is an issue. This is an issue. The folks there would have called you and told you this is an issue. So that is the
exactly.
reason
They cannot use the community center. They cannot use the community center. Again, what they're saying is that we should fix it. So which means that they're supposed to do nothing at all, right? They come into office. We were getting like $6,000 something a month. They getting $24,000 a month, and they still don't want to work for it. They still want them people to fix everything. So what they're supposed to do, just have a dry ride, as they're doing right now, flying all over the place, right? And not worrying about the country. That's what they want to do. Collect big money and don't work for it. And just blame the NMP.
The good thing about it is that...
And they're getting $24,000 a month now.
The good thing about it is that you never went into this for the money. You could have traveled all the places that they're traveling on your own. If you wanted to go, you could have go. But you decide, no, I am going to take the opportunity to help the people of St. John. And this is not something that you just start. This is something that you've been doing for many, many years, that you have, even before getting into the politics, that you have been doing for the people of St. John. And we're not just talking WeFM here. We're talking about a lot of other things that you have been doing for the people of St. John and other areas as well. And we want to, again, congratulate you on all that you have been doing and continue to do for the people in various areas. We had several projects that were completed during your period, but we had some that were not completed. and that were left back. Give us a little insight into some of the projects that had already started. We spoke about one or two earlier, but the other projects that were started that were just
Yes,
left at the side.
the road from Mani to Greasy Hill. Yes, this is where we had started. They came in and they continue with it for a while and then they just let it go. So it's uncompleted. We have the fort in Guave, which there was still it's a historic site. We were opening a road to the fort, which would have benefited the community, the people that live along that road, and then it would have been able to bring visitors and local people to see the view of the fort and the history behind it. That again, that they have stopped.
I remember that project.
In Matawan, yes, in Matawan Bridge, that bridge was supposed to be two-way traffic, just like the bridge by the fish market in Wharf. It's the same type of bridge. They're gonna break the two thick walls on the side and widen it and put a sidewalk. They just they left the bridge as it is. You see, because the Matawan Bridge won't be let the Brothers Bridge and the retaining wall just before Shaper School. That was all projects that were signed under us, right? And then they still narrow it down instead, cut back on it. Right now, up to the day, they still have not paved the road on the Brothers Bridge. It's terrible. The bridge is completed, but the road to and from the bridge is totally unpaved and rough. Then, as I say, we talked about the housing that they have neglected, and there was quite a few things that what we did in the playing fields and stuff that we had. All the maintenance people that we had in place keeping it maintained. They have taken the maintenance contract away, and some they have put in their own people there. And I don't know who's doing this supervision because they are in a deplorable state. The Cuthbert Peters Park, the pavilion, right now it needs a lot of maintenance work done, and it's not being done. We had a toilet built in Grand Roy and with sink and other facilities for the fishermen. When you look at it, it's in bad need of maintenance. Those are being rotten, and they just don't seem to be doing this maintenance or upkeep these things that we build for the people to make lives easier for them. And there are quite a few things, Sheldon, that we have started. And although we didn't physically start it, they were in the pipeline to do, right? And some of it was budgeted for. We had a visitation with the people in the ministry, and we had all these things down to do, and they haven't. I haven't seen they start most of it. They did. You look at the RC church in Guab, they did some slipper drain, and right in front of the church, they leave a big drain there. Like if you have a funeral and the horse park there, you have people, falling in. There are people that falling into the big ditch right in front of the church. I mean, come on, it makes you wonder if the people that making this decision, if they put any thought into it, or if they think of the end users, people that have to use these things after. It just seems to be totally absent. Right?
Because
we're not getting
one thing that we had for sure is that you upkept and upgraded the Cuthbert Peters Park to a specific level that we know that cricket teams could come and they could have come up there and practice. We know that football matches, regional football matches could have taken place there. And over the last couple of years, on at least 2 or 3 occasions, we know that either cricket or football had to be abandoned. They couldn't play it because of the state of the playing field, that it just was not being and is not being upkept to the standard that it ought to be upkept to. You placed the lights in, you did the pavilion, all of that. But the field itself, to upkeep it, they fired the people who were doing the maintenance before, and they brought in whoever they brought in to do the maintenance. But now, I mean, it's been embarrassing to the Grenada Football Association. I know on one occasion they had a match and it was scheduled for there. They had to cancel it, and it was not a local, as in Grenadian match. It was a regional something. It had to be canceled. All of these things are taking place simply because of lack of leadership. And lack of care and concern too.
Exactly. But that is the standard of leadership that we have right now, and it's very sad, and we are suffering. Now, a lot of things that people don't really realize, but under the NNP administration, we were methodical in what we do. We thought about things, discussed it, and planned properly. So a lot of these mistakes that you see happening now were not there under our time, because we had good management, good supervision, which right now is a void.
We touched on the area a little earlier when we spoke about the housing scheme, but the issue of housing in St. John and the material program, the amount of people that used to help with that program. Give us a little insight into what was taking place before as opposed to what is taking place now. Because I hear stories, I hear stories of what take place with material in St. John. I hear stories of what take place about money missing in office in St. John, and certain people had to go home and all kind of thing. I hear stories. I need you to go into them, but I just say that I hear stories. But you had a very active program in assisting with building materials and so in St. John. Give us a little insight into that.
We had 5 brigades, right? So we had 3 brigades that used to look after Guelph, Florida, and Ploget, 1 brigade for Gronroy, 1 brigade for Concord. And they were looking after housing and the bathroom and toilet. And then we had a 6th brigade, and they were responsible for doing like if you need a walkway to the house or whatever that you need, this brigade. So the same month, within the first 2 months after they won the election, they fired all those brigades. And then after that, you had incidents where you were hearing about who collecting money for the brigade and no brigade, etc. There were all these rumors floating around. But right now, I know that there are people that's coming to me saying that they have the materials there. They promised them that they were going to come and put up the bathroom or give them, and they're not seeing them. Nobody's coming to get the assistance that they promised. And that's rampant. It's just not happening. They give some people a few little materials to say, yes, we give you, but the people don't have the means to do the construction. And that's because they don't have the network and the brigades that we had to ensure that these things were being done.
Now, you said something a while ago there, and I know some people may have raised their eyebrows and what are you talking about? Because you mentioned bathroom and toilet. Because this government is trying to make it look, they're trying the best to make it look as though the new National Party was never doing any bathroom and toilet, that they had this brilliant idea. In fact, they said it was a brilliant idea of the Prime Minister to do bathroom and toilets for people, and they created the WASH program or whatever they call it, and that they started doing bathroom and toilets. When I know for a fact in St. John, you have been doing it. I know Brother Oliver in St. David and various other MPs were doing bathroom and toilets along with the construction in different areas. And you just mentioned that one of the areas were guys doing the building and bathroom and toilets.
Yes, let's say we had a total of 6 brigades doing it. But as the same Prime Minister that promised during the election that everybody go have a house with a veranda.
Those promises seem to be changing at the moment. Brother Dabrio, I told you I would have you on for 1 hour. I don't want to take up too much of your time again. But is there any other issue that you would like to raise on behalf of the people of St. John? Or you could even raise some on behalf of the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, because they say Dabs is a car right now. So, any issue that you would like to raise on behalf of them?
Yeah, well, thanks for the opportunity. But I would just conclude with the important urgency at hand for the people of Ploget. And I'm pleading with the government to please do something for the people of Ploget. Even if you do a shuttle service, you have one working inside Ploget to come to the disaster point and at the north, and one working from the disaster point at the south to Guelph. And I call it a disaster point because that's what it is. And it's a man-made disaster. It's not a natural disaster. They created that disaster, right? So you created it, solve it. In addition, I could give them some advice. Down by way Marshall, the sawmill close to that ravine there, you could put a road there, a bypass road to come down by the bridge before Lowell and Duncan. So there is options that you could do in the meantime to alleviate the problems that these people are having up there. And if you don't want to use that, you could do a road from Mount Felix to by Paradise, which would be longer, right? But at least do something to help alleviate the suffering of the people. I beg.
Indeed.
Thank you, Sheldon.
Indeed. And folks, I've been speaking here with Mr. Alvin Dabrio, the new National Party caretaker for the constituency of St. John, the man himself, Alvin Dabrio. And indeed, folks, it has been wonderful, Brother Dabrio. I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with us. We know you're an individual, you're up and down every day. You're in, you're up, you're down. I'm surprised you hit Mount St. Catherine for the day today, because I know it has been all up there. I was saying something last night, and I was saying, I'm sure Brother Dabrio doesn't remember that. It would have been 1996, 1997, when you were doing WeFM, when you were first starting up WeFM, and the Venezuelan helicopters came in to bring the transmitter and so up to Mount St. Catherine. You know, I was there.
Yeah.
I was there when they were doing that back in 1996 when it was going. I didn't go up on.
You're with NPR at the time.
Not NPR.
You're with NPR.
Not NPR. You know, I was actually with Barnacle newspaper at the point in time, and then right after I went with NPR. Yeah, went with NPR right after that. That's
okay.
19. So
remember that. Yeah.
I ain't just know you. I know you a long time. Indeed, Brother Dabrio, yes. Thank you so very much for being with us tonight. Indeed, you have a wonderful remainder of the night tonight, sir. Thank you.
It was my pleasure. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And the people in Closure, they send message. They say good night to Brother Alvin. Right.
Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Bye-bye.
Yes, indeed, folks. I'm speaking with Brother Alvin Dabrio there. And, quite an interesting conversation. And listen, you all recognize that Brother Dabrio did not just say, look, all you have a problem in Closure, all you have a problem in Closure. He gave a solution. He gave them two solutions, two areas where they could put a temporary road. Because remember, we heard the MP saying that, hey, the people using a bypass, there's no bypass road right now. There's no bypass road. Let's just face it. They're passing in one of the most dangerous areas to pass in Grenada right now, because the thing could collapse at any point in time, and you will have a situation where people are covered by significant amounts of soil, trees, and everything else that comes down there. Really and truly, the people should not be passing in that area. I was listening a little earlier to Jenny's program, and the gentleman that usually does the little the little videos every now and again was on, and he was speaking about various aspects of that closure project. And he was saying that as well, that people shouldn't even be visiting the area, much less having people, children, elderly, different people. And it's even near impossible for elderly now because of the way that the area is going, that it's difficult. An elderly person can't climb down and climb up and that kind of thing. So it's even worse for them. And here it is. You're not hearing that from the MP, but you're hearing it from Honorable Alvin Dabrio. Yes, Honorable, because you could not take it back just now. Honorable Alvin Dabrio. This is an option. Bring the road down to Paradise. There's the other option here. Two options that they could send in the excavator and them and clear and do roads in those areas, temporary roads, so that the people could pass. Because I'll tell you, the people in St. Mark and in St. John in general have a serious problem if we have heavy rainfall and there's any type of landslide on the west coast that blocks off their access to the town of St. George. Just remember, they can't say they're going up and pass through Closure and come across Granitang. No, they have to go up to St. Patrick and come around through Grenville, and St. Andrew, and come down. Yeah, that is the situation that they are in right now. Because that road, I don't think a lot of people understand that road is a very important road. That's the main road cutting across the center of the island. That is a main road. So when the Prime Minister, as Brother Dabrio was speaking about, when the Prime Minister was in the election campaign, he was making all kind of statements about, Dr. Michelin, see, the road collapse in Molinier, in his own constituency, the road collapse and all kind of thing. Well, the road collapse in Clogier, and Clogier people are yet to see the blessed face of the Prime Minister showing up to tell them anything. The Minister of Infrastructure, his blessed face has not shown up to the people of Clogier. Up to this point in time, they didn't see him yet. I hear he might be going sometime on the weekend. I did business, I do advertising for them. So I hear he might be going on the weekend. Good. You're going now. But the people have had to endure for going on 2 weeks. The people have had to endure what they're going through right now in that particular area. And now you're hearing it from the engineers. Not from people who sit and don't get to supper. Remember, Brother Dabrio is an engineer too. You're hearing it from the engineers in relation to these things. Not from people who don't know what they're talking about and just saying, do that, do that, do that, and they feel is this, they feel is that. No. And even the engineers now, who they brought, are telling you they think. They're not telling you they know, you know. They think it might be this, it might be that, but these tests have to be done. And while the engineer, they're telling you, they feel this test and that test and the other test has to be done. While they're telling you that, you see an excavator working in the back. So suppose the excavator make anything worse. Shouldn't what you do is stabilize what you have right now, leave it, and then do your tests quickly. Get your tests done properly, efficiently, and quickly so that you could resolve that problem. I think that conversation tonight has opened up a lot of doors to people who didn't understand things before, but now they're seeing it for what it really is. Because they may have been here in Clogier, and if we fed up, we don't want to hear nothing about Clogier again. No, this is the importance. And this is how it ties into the fact that these people have eviscerated the polyclinic, take all the stuff that used to be there and send it to other place. They take the lights that's supposed to be in Mount Granby and they send it down by Hornby. That they have been doing all these things to the people of St. John. And the people of St. John have not been saying much, but election day coming. Election day coming. For sure. Election day is coming. And every single day, election days are day closer. That is why I say check the voters list. And those are you in St. John. After all that you've heard from Brother Dabrio tonight, you all better go and check that voters list, you know. And you better contact him and tell him if you've seen any funny business day. Contact Brother Dabrio and tell him, hey, we seen that person there, they're not supposed to be there. We seen this person here. We seen this person in the wrong polling division, or I am in the wrong polling division. They're supposed to be voting in Guave, and they have me voting in Grand Roy. Let him know what is taking place. Yeah, let him know what is taking place. So that at least, as the caretaker for the new National Party, he could put forward a proposal to them that, hey, look, he could send a letter to them and say, this is not supposed to happen, this is supposed to happen, whatever it is. Yeah, at least that he can do that. Right, folks? So, folks, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to open the phone lines, but I want to mention another issue as well before I run out of time tonight. I want to mention another issue. Now, as I mentioned the seaweed, Sargassum a little earlier, there's an aspect of it I want us to pay attention to. I'm going to deal with this more extensively tomorrow night. I'm going to deal with this more extensively tomorrow night. And let me just tell you why I'm going to deal with this more extensively tomorrow night. Now, this is the situation up in Bathway. Yeah, this is the situation up in Bathway right now with the Sargassum. Right? So that's up Bathway side. Now, there's an aspect of this I don't think people have been looking at. That up in Lavera is a nesting area for the leatherback turtles. And if the Sargassum is trapping them, they cannot get to the nesting areas. If the Sargassum is blocking the nesting areas, they can't get to the nesting areas, and so on. It is causing a problem, and I believe now is the nesting time. Is it? Yeah. Now it's supposed to be the nesting time, if I remember correctly, for up in Lavera and those areas. So this is something that has to be addressed ASAP. And to all of those who out there, because I saw it today, I saw it on when Prince was doing his live. No, not our Prince, Karim was doing his live, that there were people there telling him, well, that is a natural thing and what you could do for that. And Karim was the right person to tell all you. And you're all lucky, Karim. Karim, what do you today, man? You real pray. You pray more than you just normally pray this morning, man, because usually the amount of bad, what do I get? But he came out and he said something very important. 2 years ago, he was one of the people who went and do the training, and I remember seeing the photos of Karim, and I think he got 1 or 2 other young guys from the area to go down with him and do the training on the boats that were donated by the Japanese government. They had about 5 boats donated by the Japanese government to deal with the Sargassum influx. They also trained them how to deploy the nets. So they had the nets 2 years now. And the fence. Yes, they do have a fence to capture the seaweed before it gets to land. So when you see Karim getting on this morning and saying what he's saying, he have reason to get on so. Because he knows for a fact that you all have the equipment to be able to address the situation, to capture it out there before it gets on shore. And that even when it gets on shore, that within 1 day, you all clean Grenada's beach. But people in Subiza and Grenville, like them is nobody. People in Marquis, and like them is nobody. So just treat them as you all want. Yeah, telescope people, all just treat them as you want. So that the seaweed is now coming in there, and it has flooded the area. In fact, let me see if I can find one of Karim's videos. Well, not one of the videos, but his video of what the situation is like there. Yeah? And in fact, let me let you hear a bit.
Grenville, Subiza and Marquis coastline, and tell me if I'll find that is right. Eh? What stupidness is that we have 5 boats down in solid waste down there rotting in. When we could deploy them boats on them and employ some people to clean up this thing, Jed, to chop it out in the water and to clean up this thing. You understand? Tell me if I'll find that right. And when I talk, I'll always feel, oh, disrespectful and attacking too much and this and that. Who feels it knows it, Jed? Who feels it knows it? I'll share the light for me, please. I want a lot of people to see it. I want real people to see what's going on. What Subi's, Marquis and Grenville people going through daily. And before we talk, I'll quick to jump down in my throat. Tell me what boats and pick it. Man can't even go in the sea this morning. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. Fishermen have a life too. We have to live too. We have families to feed too. Come on now. And before we talk, all you want to, they on social media, all they in foreign enjoying, all some of all don't even enjoying life over there. A lot of all they just prove a point on social media to make people say this and make people say that about all you. But some of all they don't even living good in foreign. But let's give all the benefit of the doubt. And say all they living all a nice life in foreign. Right? All they don't have to go through the daily process of dealing with the Sargassum seaweed. You understand? But some of all they just they running all your ass day and night. And doing like if you know people always coming down and this person and people always coming. Oh God, come on now, man. Come on now. We get free funding. 5 nice boats. What could trap them seaweed on them and pick them up. We have nets to trap it. We have sea fence to block it. We have boat to pick it up. All just have them boat and them down in solid waste down there ratting in. Ratting in. You understand? 5 boats. Just they pack up down in solid waste down there doing nothing. I mean, come on, man. Come on. How long we gonna take this thing for? Look at that. Man can't even go in the sea this morning and make a daily bread. And this thing taking about a month to dissolve as you're watching it there. It'll take about a month to dissolve. You understand? So fishermen can't go in the sea for a month. We can't make money for a month. Right? We can't make money for a month. We could clean it. Let's clean it. We have what it takes. We have boats to clean it. We have nets to clean it. We have this to clean it. Let us clean it now. What's going on? You understand? Let me make a move now, let me make a step now. I'll have 5 people on the bay in Langwale, 10 people on the bay, 20 people on the bay, whatever, fighting to clean up. This is more than just 5 persons waiting on the bay in one spot. Every day they clean, the same amount coming back in the same spot. Come on now, man. Let me deal with this thing now. We have what it takes. If you could come in Grenada and they could clean it in 24 hours time, they could solve a problem up here too. What kind of lawlessness is that? And before somebody talk, I want to jump down in their throat. But all they do feeling the pressure, foreigners, all they fine, all they way, all they do feeling the pressure. You understand this thing? You can have no electrical appliances in your house. You can have TV in your house. You can have DVD player in your house. Fire stick. Any electrical appliances you have in your house when this thing there wrong, it damage, it done, it spoil. Yeah? Every time seaweed come, you have to buy a new TV, you have to buy a new phone, you have to buy a new fridge. Yeah? All things just malfunctioning in a place. Come on, man. Come on now. So it's not Subis, Grenville and Mackie do then Grenada to them. Come on, people, how long we go take this thing for? How long we go take that for? I fed up. I tired by TV. I tired by phone. I tired by fridge. I tired by DVD player. I jump to fire stick thinking, well, I'll get a ease up. Same thing. You understand? I jump to fire stick. Thinking, well, fire stick now, I'll get a ease up. Not knowing my fire stick mash up too. Open the fire stick there. If you see the conditioner inside this thing, if you see the conditioner inside it, I mean, how long we go take that for? How long we have to be going through that for?
And folks understand, he's speaking, and he may speak passionately, and he may not agree with his tone and whatever, but he's speaking for his rights. And he's speaking about what he is going through and what the people in his community are going through. Because the fumes from that, imagine you have, I mean, some people are passing through, and they could barely pass through the area because of the fumes that are there. Imagine having to live there and go through those fumes 24 hours a day. And remember, there's a certain government minister living right there too. Just putting that out there, there's a certain government minister out there. Yeah? Let me see if I could find something here. Yeah, I want to find something here. Because he's saying that, all you remember this? Let me just play this one. I know we go run out of time, but let me play this one. Let me play this one for you all.
Mostly targeting both at interim and long-term planning is the Sargassum management. Grenada continues to lead regional efforts and international efforts as well in addressing the environmental and economic challenges posed by Sargassum influxes. So in response to the influx, ladies and gentlemen, we've been experiencing that over, and it's a seasonal thing. So over the Easter holidays, you might have seen videos, you might have seen images as well, showing that, you know, the influx started on the eastern side, and now it is in a large volume on the southern zone. And this morning, ladies and gentlemen, we have seen it, and maybe some of you might have seen it as well too on your way here on the west side, Palmis, don't talk for the Lands Bay. So as an immediate relief, ladies and gentlemen, we have implemented our 2025 operational response plan.
And folks, I want you all to listen to this very carefully, because she did lie about it, and this was about April. Yeah, so let's hear the operational plan, the plan they put in place.
Where we have hired 32 temporary workers, and we have deployed the Coast Guard's assets to manage the seaweed collection effectively in the Maki and Sobeys area as of March 1st, 2025. Priority has been given so far on that side to residential areas. The materials collected are taken to Telescope. In collaboration with the GTA, we are responding to the influx of Sargassum on the west coast. And so we have the Yahama boats at the Coast Guard base, and we are mobilizing, and we intend to launch and deploy the floating fence that we have, and to collect the Sargassum in water using trawl nets. The materials will be landed at the Grand Mall jetty.
All you hear that, right? So they would deploy the fence, and so the same fence that the same guy who was speaking a while ago, he had training together with other people to deploy those nets. You all see what he's showing you all this morning. That was a live from this morning. And he was telling you all that he knows that they have the boats, and they have the net, and they have the fence. And in April, she was saying they're going to deploy to capture it out in the water, not on land, to capture it out in the water.
And so we have the Yahama boats at the Coast Guard base, and we are mobilizing, and we intend to launch and deploy the floating fence that we have and to collect the sargassum in water using trawl nets. The materials will be landed at the Grand Mall jetty, and it will be taken to Perseverance landfill. Priority is given to the commercial areas as well. The trawl nets will be used to collect sargassum in water on the west coast from tomorrow, and we are going to be landing at the Guave jetty, and it will be taken to Perseverance.
Again, that never happened. Let me just let you all know that never happened.
The boats will be returned to the Coast Guard base at the end of each working day as a matter of security. So in the interim, we are dealing with it at the local level. Obviously, you cannot really, there's no means of predicting it really where it would go, because the tidal, the wave and all kind of thing, we just can't predict where you're gonna go. But we are trying our utmost to deal with it. So minus the noise and just focus on there is interim steps that we are taking, and these are the few steps that we are taking thus far. At a more long-term and economically viable industry.
Yeah, I think we had enough for you for tonight. Yeah, right. Yes, indeed, folks. And that is what she was saying back in April. They go put out net and all kind of thing, and they go hold it out day, and they go capture heat and all sorts of things, and that did not take place. Remember, there were people that had all the answers for this thing, you know. There were people that had
attempt to regulate that problem. Listen, in the earlys, they brought some heavy machinery on the beachfront, and any ABC environmentalist would have told you that that was not sound. So they started to take out all of the sand, and then the water started to come right up to the road. And then because that didn't work, nothing else was done. But hear me, an NDC administration...
Just remember, there's the NDC caretaker for the same areas that you're seeing that seaweed that we're talking about today. That is same man. Same David Andrew is the man that said that he wants to represent the people in those areas. Yes, I am fully aware that part at the area belongs to St. Andrew Southwest. So Toes, we know part of the area is U2. But he was sitting right on the stage there when this one was saying that. And he said we, so he include you. So he was talking on behalf of you, so you was talking too.
In fact, we have already contacted a foreign company based out of Martinique that specializes in capturing the seaweed, the sargassum, collecting. Well, they could do it if they want. The people will benefit if they can get it done before elections. Yeah? So, capturing it and washing, but not only that, we're going to bring it ashore, and we are going to do research on it and make products with it. In other territories in the region, it's being done. Why can't we do it too? Let's take this apparent curse and see the opportunity in it with an NDC government that will be done.
Yeah, so they knew all the answers at that point in time. They knew all the answers at that point in time. Karim, I hope you're listening or no? Yeah, they knew all the answers at that point in time. And if they have a next one, boy, let me play our next one. Yeah, I feel I'll play our next one before I done tonight. Let me play our next one before I done tonight.
Since 2014, for you to not smell the stench that comes from the sargassum that the people of Soubise and Maki have to live with day in, day out.
Oh, you know about that? Let me go again.
For you to not smell the stench that comes from the sargassum that the people of Soubise and Maki have to live with day in, day out. Where have you been to not know that the fishermen of Soubise and Maki have to walk through the sargassum every day to get onto and off their boats with their fish?
Okay, so Karim, I hope you're hearing, because the man know very well what you were saying today. This is proof that the Prime Minister of this country, everything that you say you're going through today, he knows, and he knew since he's in opposition. Yeah.
Where have you been to not know that the sargassum is damaging the engines of the boats? Where have you been to not know that the sargassum is creating skin rashes to our fishermen and the people who go on the beach?
And now remember, this individual who talking, this is the Prime Minister of the country. Have 5 boats, net and fence, and you also the state of the beach and them kind of thing. They still right? Okay.
Have to wade through the Sargassum. Where have you been?
Easter Monday usually sees Grenada's beaches teeming with this.
No, we ain't go bother with that one right now. We're going to leave that one alone for now. But no, just understand that that person who talking it, that's the Prime Minister right now. But we're going to finish that talk tomorrow night. Folks, that's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you. And everything you say and do it safe and secure. Want to be speaking to and with you, and definitely not about you. Love each and every one of you. And we will be on tomorrow night, yes, Friday night, with the Friday night program for you. Yeah, no, only about 3 or 4 people donate, but we coming on. Yeah, nice, great.
A man that grew up on fish oil. This is your son of the soil.